He may look the part, but for all of the Confederate branding, the man depicted on the monument behind me may not be such a rebel after all.
The statue, nicknamed Old Joe, was unveiled in 1909 as a tribute to Confederate soldiers, but tiny details in the sculpture give away secrets. Consider this kit bag that, when hit by the sun just right, reveals the letters US. Or consider that Old Joe's rifle dates to 8 years after the conclusion of the Civil War. Those are a few details that architects have used to argue that Old Joe earned his stripes in the Spanish-American War, not the Confederacy.
Normally it came as a Spanish-American War soldier, but they could buff the U.S. off the belt buckle and off the cartridge pouch, and you could pass it off as a Confederate soldier, although the uniform is wrong. The uniform is a U.S. Army uniform.
Documents at the Longstreet Society Museum have records that indicate the United Daughters of the Confederacy settled on a modified Spanish-American war soldier because of funding issues. In fact, Gainesville's Old Joe can be seen in towns across the country.
If you don't think about it, you can be okay with accepting it as a Confederate soldier. I just know it's not.
But if Old Joe doesn't represent an individual, does that change the meaning of his presence? And what does he symbolize to the people of Gainesville?
Honestly, it doesn't symbolize too much for me.
This statue represents to me our history.
I mean, it's a historical mark.
Them as reminders of what happened.
The statue doesn't really symbolize anything.
Well, it's hard to say. But one thing's for sure. If Old Joe doesn't represent an individual, then he must represent all Confederates, including those like Robert E. Lee, who was forced to give up his slaves.
The National Park Service has got a lot of Confederate statues, and their approach is to put a plaque or something beside some of these statues, explaining what was wrong with that, and what the other side